Let's uncover some real markers of a sharp mind. 10. Always asking why. Truly intelligent individuals possess a childlike wonder about the world that never quite fades. They aren't content with surface-level information or accepting things at face value. Instead, they have an innate drive to understand the whys and how behind everything. This isn't about asking questions to show off, but a genuine desire to explore, deconstruct, and connect ideas. You'll notice them asking follow-up questions that delve deeper, challenging assumptions, and seeking to uncover underlying principles. They listen intently to answers, not just to formulate their next question, but to truly absorb and process the information. Why it's hard to fake. Anyone can ask a random question, but faking sustained and insightful curiosity is incredibly difficult. A pretender might ask a few superficial or obvious questions, but their well will soon run dry, or their questions will lack coherence and reveal a lack of genuine engagement. They might also interrupt or not truly listen to the answers. Genuine curiosity builds momentum, with each answer sparking new avenues of inquiry that demonstrate an active, agile mind at work, piecing together a complex puzzle. It's an unquenchable thirst, not a performance. 9. Saying, "I don't know" easily. Paradoxically, one of the clearest signs of high intelligence is the willingness to admit, "I don't know." This isn't a sign of weakness, but of profound self-awareness and intellectual security. Intelligent people understand that the scope of knowledge is vast, and no single person can know everything. They are comfortable with the limits of their current understanding and view it as an opportunity for growth rather than a personal failing. They don't feel the need to posture or pretend expertise they don't possess. Instead, they'll readily acknowledge gaps in their knowledge and often follow it up with an eagerness to learn or find the answer. Why it's hard to fake. While someone might occasionally say, "I don't know," to appear humble, consistently demonstrating intellectual humility, especially in areas where they might be expected to have some knowledge, is tough for those driven by ego. Fakers often become defensive, try to bluster their way through, change the subject, or offer vague, non-committal answers. Genuine intellectual humility is accompanied by a genuine openness to correction and a proactive desire to learn from others without feeling diminished. It's about valuing truth over an image of infallibility. 8. Changing their mind when they learn new things. The world is a dynamic and unpredictable place. True intelligence isn't just about knowing facts. It's about the ability to adjust one's thinking in response to new information, changing circumstances, or novel problems. This involves being able to consider different perspectives, revise previously held beliefs when confronted with compelling evidence, and switch mental gears when one approach isn't working. Intelligent individuals don't cling rigidly to their ideas if they prove to be flawed. They can pivot, improvise, and find alternative pathways. Why it's hard to fake. Someone can claim to be adaptable or open-minded, but their actions under pressure or when faced with contradictory evidence will reveal the truth. Faking cognitive flexibility often results in mere verbal agreement without any actual change in approach or perspective. When genuinely challenged, a pretender might become defensive or revert to their original, inflexible stance. True adaptability is an active process of mental reorganization and a willingness to step outside one's comfort zone, which is difficult to simulate if one's thinking is inherently rigid. 7. Knowing their own strengths and weaknesses. Knowing oneself deeply, understanding one's strengths, weaknesses, emotional patterns, motivations, and crucially, one's own cognitive biases, is a sophisticated form of intelligence. It's the ability to step back and observe one's own thought processes with a degree of objectivity. This allows for more reasoned decision-making, better emotional regulation, and an understanding of how one's own internal landscape might be coloring their perception of the external world. People with high self-awareness can often predict their own reactions and understand why they feel or act a certain way. Why it's hard to fake. It's easy to pay lip service to self-awareness by listing a few generic strengths and weaknesses from a self-help book. However, genuine self-awareness is demonstrated through nuanced understanding and application. For example, acknowledging a specific cognitive bias like confirmation bias at play in one's own judgment as it's happening, or articulating how a past experience is shaping a current emotional response, requires deep introspection and honesty that's very difficult to feign. Fakers often lack this depth and their self-awareness feels superficial or rehearsed. 6. Understanding how others feel. Empathy, in its truest sense, is far more than just feeling sorry for someone. It's the cognitive and emotional capacity to understand and share the feelings of another person, to truly see the world from their unique vantage point. This involves listening actively, picking up on subtle emotional cues, and being able to accurately model another person's mental and emotional state, even if their experiences or beliefs are vastly different from one's own. It allows for deeper connections, more effective communication, and more compassionate interactions. Why it's hard to fake. One can learn to mimic sympathetic responses, offering platitudes or a sad expression. But faking genuine empathy is exceedingly difficult because it requires a complex interplay of emotional resonance and cognitive effort. A pretender's empathy often feels hollow, formulaic, or self-serving. They might struggle to grasp perspectives that challenge their own, or their responses might lack the specific attunement that comes from truly understanding another's internal world. Genuine empathy often leads to insightful questions and actions that reflect a deep, unfeigned understanding. 5. Being okay with it's complicated. Life is rarely simple, and most significant issues aren't black and white. Intelligent individuals often demonstrate a remarkable ability to tolerate and even embrace complexity and ambiguity. They can hold multiple, sometimes contradictory perspectives in mind simultaneously without feeling an overwhelming need for immediate simplistic answers or premature closure. They appreciate nuance and understand that most situations have many shades of gray. This doesn't mean they're indecisive. Rather, they are willing to engage with the full intricacy of a problem before forming a judgment. Why it's hard to fake. Attempting to fake comfort with complexity often results in either appearing confused and muddled or simply parroting different viewpoints without any real synthesis or understanding. Those who genuinely grapple with complexity can articulate the different facets of an issue, their interconnections, and the various trade-offs involved. Fakers tend to quickly revert to simplistic binaries, become visibly frustrated by a lack of easy answers, or offer superficial acknowledgments of complexity without truly engaging with it. 4. Solving new problems creatively. This is where intelligence truly shines beyond rote memorization. It's the capacity to analyze unfamiliar problems, identify core principles, think outside the box to generate innovative solutions, and then critically evaluate the potential effectiveness of those solutions. It involves not just applying what's known, but also adapting knowledge to new contexts, combining ideas in original ways, and demonstrating resourcefulness when faced with obstacles. Why it's hard to fake. One can memorize answers to common problems or follow predefined procedures. However, when confronted with a genuinely novel and complex challenge for which there's no playbook, faking problem-solving ability becomes nearly impossible. A pretender might get stuck, offer irrelevant or superficial solutions based on a poor understanding of the problem, or try to force-fit a familiar but inappropriate method. True problem solvers demonstrate an agile and analytical approach, breaking down the problem and exploring multiple pathways with genuine insight. 3. Noticing small details others miss. Highly intelligent people often possess a heightened ability to notice details, subtleties, and connections that others might overlook. They are not just passive recipients of information, but active observers of their environment, picking up on nonverbal cues, inconsistencies, or emerging patterns. This keen awareness allows them to gather a richer data set from their surroundings, leading to better informed judgments, more accurate predictions, and a deeper understanding of situations and people. Why it's hard to fake. You either see something, or you don't. While someone can claim to be observant, their inability to recall specific details, describe subtle changes, or identify underlying patterns when prompted will quickly expose the pretense. Faking observation often means stating the obvious or making vague claims. Genuine observational skill is an active, ongoing cognitive process that involves more than just looking. It involves processing, interpreting, and connecting what is seen, often leading to insights that seem almost prescient to those less observant. 2. Explaining hard things simply. A profound sign of intelligence is the ability to take a complex, multifaceted subject and explain it clearly, concisely, and accurately to someone who has less familiarity with it, without being condescending. This skill, often summarized by the adage, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough," demonstrates not just knowledge, but a deep mastery of the material and an understanding of how to structure information for different audiences. It involves identifying the core concepts, using appropriate analogies, and anticipating points of confusion. Why it's hard to fake. Someone trying to fake understanding of a complex topic often hides behind a wall of jargon, overly technical language, or convoluted, rambling explanations that serve to confuse rather than clarify. They might get defensive or lost when asked probing questions, or for simpler explanations. True clarity in communication stems from genuine deep comprehension, allowing the speaker to distill the essence of a topic and present it in an accessible and engaging manner. 1. Having a quick, clever sense of humor, beyond just telling jokes. A truly intelligent sense of humor, especially wit, irony, and satire, often indicates rapid cognitive processing, a strong ability to recognize patterns and incongruities, and a nuanced understanding of language, subtext, and social dynamics. Witty individuals can make clever connections on the fly, play with words and ideas in inventive ways, and find humor in unexpected situations, often tailored to the specific context and audience. It's humor that makes you think as well as laugh. Why it's hard to fake. Anyone can memorize and repeat jokes or resort to slapstick or crude humor. But genuine wit is spontaneous, agile, and context-dependent. Attempting to fake this type of sophisticated humor usually results in awkward, forced, or misplaced comments that fall flat or even cause offense. It might also involve simply repeating popular memes or catchphrases without real understanding of their nuanced application. Truly witty humor demonstrates a quick mind, creativity, and often a deep understanding of human nature, which is very difficult to simulate on demand. For more mind-expanding facts and insights, make sure you're subscribed.